Hello, welcome. Today I want to talk about yin, yang, and qi. Three things I talk about all the time in my acupuncture clinic, and I thought that you might want to understand them better. So, yin and yang, a super simple concept, often called yang, which is super funny. So, come on over to the other side and you two can start calling it yang now. So, yin and yang. Simple concept, totally profound. Yin is darkness, yang is light. These things are at once opposites and also complementary. So yin is the shady side of the hill, yang is the sunny side of the hill. Yin is nighttime, yang is daytime. Yin is a place of rest and recovery, and yang is that action and being out in the world. So, yin and yang are opposites, and they're also complementary. And what's also true is they only are as they are in relationship to one another. So, if earth is yin, then heaven is yang. And if contraction is yin, expansion is yang. So, what is also true is that yin and yang are constantly transforming into one another. In fact, night is only night, and then it turns into day, and day at some point turns into night again. So, yang contains the seed of yin, and yin contains the seed of yang. Nothing is totally yin or totally yang. We are constantly changing, and that is the beautiful part of life and acupuncture and why Chinese medicine is so amazing. So, yin and yang are always changing, and part of this changing relationship is often expressed when we talk about qi. And qi is simply called energy, and that's true. But specifically, it's the energy that pushes the blood through the organ systems. And I'll back up to clarify is that actually qi, this energy, is able to move because we breathe. And as we breathe, the blood, which carries nutrition through the body, moves through the organ systems. It's really important to say systems when you're talking about organs in Chinese medicine and acupuncture, because I don't want you to leave the clinic and think that something's wrong with your liver or your spleen or your lung and go home a hypochondriac. That is not my point at all. In fact, when I talk about organs in the clinic, I am referring to the system. One system, for example, is wood, and that contains the liver and the gallbladder, and it also contains strategy and planning and anger and the color green and shouting, just to name a few. So these organ systems are broken down in Chinese medicine, and we, as acupuncturists, measure how the qi and blood are moving through the organ systems. And ideally, everything is balanced. But the truth is, imbalance happens. Imbalance happens from life. There are three main categories that cause imbalance, and one of them is physical insult, injury. For example, repetitive motion, and getting an injury and having swelling and then scar tissue, or distributing your weight awkwardly to compensate for, say, a knee injury might throw your digestion off because the earth channels, the spleen and stomach, go through the knee. So the first reason for imbalance is physical insult or injury. The second cause of imbalance is actually environmental exposure. And we're not saying that the environment is the problem. We generally want ourselves to just be strong and resilient. But you may be being exposed to heavy metals or toxins or chemicals if you, for example, live on a golf course or are using dry cleaners all the time, or something I see in San Francisco is people are sitting underneath vents, and that recycled air has a lot of yuckiness in it, and it's being blown cold onto like your neck, and then maybe you have stiff neck or headaches or lots of colds and flus. So paying attention to your environment, and what that usually means to me is choosing organic and grass-fed when possible, because we can control what we're cooking, but we can't always control what we get when we're out in the world. So just limiting our excessive exposure to things that are not promoting health. So environment is the second major cause of imbalance. And the third is emotions. And no, I'm not saying emotions are the problem. The problem happens when we don't feel our emotions often, when we suppress our anger or we ignore our fear. Or we get stuck in an emotion for too long. We don't let it move through us. It becomes our story. Our grief becomes the story of our life, for example. And as there is yin and yang within everything, there is a challenge and an opportunity within each emotion. For example, anger, when we feel our anger, can allow us to see the creative solution. That's the opportunity to make a choice. Grief, when felt completely, can open us up to inspiration. And fear, when we really look at it, will help us to recognize our true potential and hopefully to set our intention on freedom. So I love talking about emotions, and that leads into a discussion about five element theory, which is another foundation of Chinese medicine. And I'm going to talk about that in the next video. So if you want to learn more about what the heck your acupuncturist is talking about and how we come up with these concepts that you hear about on the table, check out the next video. Find out more about me, Jessica Davies, at my website, naturallyjess.com, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.